Hello my dear participants, I am very happy to welcome you all back to my course on enhancing soft skills and personality, particularly at this point because we are on the 4th week and this is the 5th unit, that is the last unit of 4th week, which means you have completed half of the course. So congratulations to you and then happy participation in the coming assignment also. But this means that we've been doing a great deal in terms of this course and just another off, and then looking at your responses we are able to see that you are able to grasp the course and you are with the course. Hope you are liking it and hope you are able to gain personal benefit out of it. Now this is people skills 5th unit, and then particularly this the second part of being attractive, and overall this is lesson number 20. So let's look at the highlights of what I did in the last lesson. In the last lesson we looked at the concealing issues related to being attractive in terms of physical, mental and emotional levels, and we identified most important attractive qualities such as in terms of physical level, focusing on the foot instead of focusing on the face, keeping the body in shape by doing regular exercise, and then by maintaining proper diet, and then in terms of that eating well, which means eating rich food, not junk food, and eating in proper time, and sleeping well in time and sleeping sufficiently in terms of 7 to 9 hours, and not keeping yourself awake during the devil's hour, that is 3 o'clock midnight or early in the morning. Now the next important aspect that I discussed was to develop your unique signature trait and then live that signature personality, such as the uniqueness that you will remember in terms of great personalities like Charlie Chaplin or Mahatma Gandhi or even Mother Teresa. So immediately you will remember her white color attire, and then whatever comes to your mind, like Jawaharlal Nehru, the jacket immediately, the rose, his love for children. So develop what is unique in you and try to make that manifested in terms of developing your personality, and that becomes the signature personality. So develop that, and overall I said that in terms of the physical level you should also learn to attract the children. So if you are able to attract the children, which is not that easy, unless you are a genuine person you will not be able to do that. At the mental level I focused on things like maintaining an intellectual charm by being able to engage people with lot of interesting ideas, especially good thoughts which you have collected from books, various sources, and which you are willing to share it with others, and being open yet staying a mystery to others, keeping certain things bit mysterious so that people keep guessing about your own real drive, why you are interested in doing certain things which normally other peoples are shying away from, and so on. At the emotional level you need to touch others' heart. So the connection has to be at the level of heart. And then I said that you should use your memory to remember names, birthdays and anniversaries, and then you should learn to value yourself so that you will be valued by others. You should love yourself so that others will start loving you, and overall I said just be yourself. So do not imitate others, do not try to impress others, do not indulge in any attention seeking behavior. People will be attracted to you if you learn to be self-contained, calm and composed, and then you are with yourself. If you are comfortable with yourself, you should know that others will find you attractive and they will be comfortable with you also. Now the most interesting aspect about attracting others, and having looked at the concealed issues related to being attractive in terms of physical, mental, emotional levels, in this lesson we will focus on the spiritual level. Now in terms of identifying attractable traits at a spiritual level, first I will say practice mindfulness. What is meant by mindfulness? Being full of your mind at the moment where you are present. This means you should be emotionally balanced and you should learn to live in the present moment. We should neither feel anxious about an unknown future, that future should not intimidate you, nor get bogged down with the depressive past. You should read the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. Now this book, The Power of Now, tells you that only the present moment is important, and your desperate attempts to control past, thinking that you can control your life, the author says, is an illusion. And when you try to control future anxieties, either trying to control past influences or trying to control future anxieties, will give only pain. Instead, what the author and the book tries to teach you is to learn how to relax in the now and live fully, mindfully in the present. So that is the most important spiritual trait that if you are able to develop, when you are able to shield yourself, insulate yourself from the pressures of the past and the anxieties of the future, and if you are able to focus on the present moment to the task at hand. As they say, when you sip a tea, you just focus on sipping the tea. Do not keep the mind elsewhere. Even when you drink the water, enjoy drinking the water. So that will make you healthy, charismatic, charming, and very attractive to others. Now at the spiritual level, you should also make deeper connections. Apart from touching people's heart at the emotional level, try to connect to people at a deeper spiritual level. Now motivate them to operate at a high level of aspiration that causes self-awareness and leads to self-actualization. Many people work at a very normal, mundane level. You try to motivate, you try to elevate their lifestyle, you try to uplift them, you try to make them realize that there is higher level of aspirations one can have, instead of getting bogged down with what is mundane and what is being caught in this kind of rat race. So if you slightly lead them to self-actualization and cause them self-awareness, they will try to connect to you as a spiritual level, and try to address their innermost fears and worries by sharing your innermost fears and worries, and that's how you will connect. And you can offer solace, comfort, make them feel that that's something normal with all human beings, and encourage them to acquire those qualities that money cannot buy for them. This is how you can actually connect with them spiritually, encouraging them to acquire those qualities that money cannot buy for them. And remember, when you encourage, you first try to emulate those qualities such as respect, so money cannot buy, trust, loyalty, true friends, and genuine love, care and concern, inner peace. So whatever money you are willing to spend, you cannot give that inner peace. Sweet dreams. Very rich business people, they keep saying that they get only nightmares. So they have stopped getting sweet dreams and happy memories. Again, people who look apparently materialistically successful, often they regret their life because they say that they do not cherish, they do not have any happy memories. Look at this unknown quote that typifies things which you cannot buy using money. What money can buy and where it is limited. What are the limitations of money and why you should try to connect people at a spiritual level. Money can buy a house but not a home. It can buy a bed but not sleep. It can buy a clock but not time. It can buy a book but not knowledge. It can buy blood but not health. So you see, money is not everything in life. Now the next important and attractive trait that you should develop at a spiritual level is you should help without expectations. You should help others without expecting anything in return, and it's the ultimate quality that will make you very attractive. When people know that you are a person who is just helping and expecting nothing in return, and you are doing without expecting anything in return, people will find you the most attractive. In this context, I would like to tell you a story, a very interesting story which appealed to me and definitely will appeal to you in terms of helping others and doing something without any expectation. And it also tells you, leaves you with the message that the evil you do remains with you, the good you do comes back to you. What is the story? This is the story of a hunchback. So, hunchback, you know, a person who is not able to stand erect, so he always walks with this hunchback, and he is a beggar, so he is not able to work, so he is actually getting things from other people and living by what he gets as alms. And every day he happened to pass by one house where there is a lady, a mother, and then she makes some bread for the family, and she leaves one set on the window so that the person who is passing by that window pane, so he can just take from the window, and the person happens to be this hunchback, and every time he is taking the bread from the house, he says this thing: the evil you do remains with you, the good you do comes back to you. Now every day the lady listens to this, and slowly she starts feeling irritated and annoyed, and she feels that every day I am giving this person one set of bread, and then without showing any gratitude, this person says this to me, and then it doesn't sound good. So he is ungrateful fellow, and I should teach him a lesson. Thinking so, the lady thinks that what is the use of this person living? So rather she should give poison. Okay, she, instead of putting only butter and jam, she thinks that she will add some poison that will kill the person immediately. So she mixes poison on that day and then puts butter and jam over it, conceals it, and then she just plans to keep it in the window. Now the time she is planning to keep, and then she has taken it and she is about to put it there, her hands start slightly tremoring. She feels that, what am I doing? This person is just annoying me, and then am I going to just give him the biggest punishment, and what right I have to do this? So this is real evil, thinking of killing him. So for a moment she thinks, and then she throws that thinking that how did I get this thought, and she throws that in the kitchen and then in the burner, and then it gets burnt. Now this mother's only son, in a fit of a moment, in a quarrel with her, in a bitter quarrel with her, he gets angry, and then he runs away from the home. And each day she is expecting that her lovable son would return, he will forgive her, and then he would come back. And this person has not come for a long time. Now suddenly, this day, when she thought of giving that poisonous bread to the hunchback beggar, the son appears at her doorstep, and he is very lean and thin, and he is wearing shabby clothes, and he looks as if he was about to die but surviving somehow. And then the son says, "Mother, it's a miracle that I am here, because I would have died just few miles away from the home. But I saw a hunchback, and then he was having a set of bread, and then I asked him to spare that to me, because I was hungry and I thought I would die without eating anything." And then the hunchback beggar said that my need was higher than his need, and then he happily shared that with me. Now I ate it, and because I ate it, I was able to walk little further and reach our home. Listening to this, the mother shuddered with the thought that what would have happened if she had kept that poisonous bread for the hunchback, and that bread would have been given to her own son, and her own son would have died on the spot. So, and then she remembers the truth in the statement the hunchback was making, that the evil you do remains with you, the good you do comes back to you. So, if she had poisoned it, her son would have died, but since he did the good thing of not poisoning and giving another fresh bread piece to the hunchback, the good thing that she did, her son came back safely and alive. Now, as a concluding thought, in terms of connecting to people spiritually and maintaining that spiritual connection, I would like to tell you that you should pay it forward. It's not a new thought of mine, but it's become so popular and become highly philosophic, and even has become a kind of idiom. What does it mean, pay it forward? It simply means return the good that someone did for you to someone else, not to the person who did that good for you. So, instead of paying back to the original benefactor, return it to someone needy. Now, in this context, you should watch the movie Pay It Forward, which was released in the year 2000. It's a very beautifully made movie. It touches your soul, your heart, and it will make you connect to people at a spiritual level. And you should start practicing this Pay It Forward. Now, to understand it fully, I would say that you should watch the movie and enjoy that and feel that spiritual connectivity. But a very small story that is getting circulated in internet, I would like to share it with you in terms of paying it forward. This is the story. A man was driving his scooter when he saw an old lady stranded on the side of the road. He saw that she needed help, so he stopped his scooter near her Mercedes car and got out. So obviously she is very rich and this guy is very poor. He smiled. While he was approaching her, still she was worried, as nobody had stopped for hours and that area was not looking safe. So, and this guy is also not looking safe. So his appearance was so poor and shabby. So she was a bit nervous. He could see how frightened she was, so he tried to calm her. So he said, "I am here to help you, don't worry. My name is Ankit." The tire was flat, so he had to crawl under the car. While changing the tire, he got dirty and his hands were hurt. When the job was done, she asked how much she owed him for his help. Ankit smiled. He said, "If you really want to pay me back, the next time you see someone who needs help, give that person the needed assistance and think of me." At the same evening, the lady stopped by a small cafe. That place looked dingy. Then she saw a waitress, nearly 8 months pregnant, wiping her wet hair with a towel. The waitress had a sweet, friendly smile, although she had spent on her feet the whole day. She was not showing the tiredness, frustration on her face. The lady wondered how someone who has so little can be so kind and giving to a stranger. And then she remembered Ankit. The lady had finished her meal and paid with a 500 rupee note. The waitress went to get change, and when she came back, the lady was gone. She left a note on the napkin saying, "You don't owe me anything. Somebody once helped me, just like now I am helping you. If you really want to pay me back, do not let this chain of love end with you." The waitress found 5 more 2000 rupee notes under the napkin. That night, the waitress came home earlier. She was thinking about the lady and the money she left. She was wondering how the lady could know how much she and her husband needed it, especially now when the baby will soon arrive. So the husband is jobless and wife is just earning little money, and they will need at least this 10,000 rupees even for a normal delivery of the baby, and they were so worried as where they can get this money, and they had already got enough loan and they were so concerned about that. And she knew that her husband worried about that. So she was glad to tell him good news that she has at least got the money. So that night, then she kissed him and whispered, "Now everything will be all right. I love you, Ankit." So you understand now that it's the same Ankit who helped the lady for changing the tire, and the lady, out of gratitude, since Ankit refused to take her help immediately and said that you pay it forward, she wanted to pay it forward to this lady who is needy and she knows that she needs money for proper delivery, and she kept the money for that purpose. And that made this lady happy, and then she brought it and then she told her husband, who is none other than the same person who helped the lady. Now the good you do definitely comes back to you, and pay it forward says you do it without even expecting it, and then try to pay it forward. Just keep this love circle growing, and if you are able to do that, you will soon make the place a very lovable and spiritually connectable place. Now let us end this lesson with an interesting quote from the Dalai Lama. When he was asked in an interview, what is it that surprises him so much? What aspect of the world or what thing in the world surprised him the most? He said, man. And this is what he says. He says, man surprised me most about humanity because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies having never really lived. This beautifully sums up the week's thought in terms of making yourself likable, in terms of avoiding yourself being totally dislikable by others, and developing attractive qualities as a physical, mental and emotional level. And more than emotional level, it is important to develop this spiritual connectivity in terms of being attractive. And the summing up thought is that live in the moment and then develop things, acquire things which money cannot buy, and then pass on things, pay it forward in terms of goodness that again money cannot compensate. So with that thought, I would like to tell you that apart from the materials which I mentioned in the previous lecture, you should also take a look at this Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, and watch the movie Pay It Forward. So you can get it on DVD, you can try to watch it from people who might have even got it copies, stored it in their hard disks. So collect it from them, find out where you can get a copy, but watch the movie, okay, and then you will really feel if you have that spiritual inclination in you, you will really feel that it's one movie that can change you also. And in fact, it's considered to be one of the top 10 movies that can actually change a person, and many people have watched it, experienced the change in themselves. So interestingly, this time I am saying that you can even watch a movie instead of all the time telling you that you read something. So try to watch this one. I won't keep telling you to watch movies, but this is the only one time being I am recommending. Once again, I thank you for being with me for these 4 weeks and then making me successfully complete half of the course. And at this stage, I hope that you are trying to experiencing the change, you are trying to implement some of the lessons that have been taught to you. And as I said, unless you try to practice, so you will not experience the change actually. Let that change happen gradually, but for the better in you. And thank you so much for being with me and watching this video. Have a very nice day. Happy doing this assignment. Thank you.